Welcome to War Bias, the podcast where we delve into the most pivotal conflicts in history, and I'm your host, General Biography. Today, we're going to explore one of the most legendary battles of the ancient world, the Battle of Thermopylae, fought in 480 BC. This iconic clash between the Persian Empire and a coalition of Greek city-states has become synonymous with bravery, sacrifice, and the indomitable human spirit. The Persian Empire, under the rule of King Xerxes I, had been expanding its territories for decades, conquering vast swaths of land and incorporating various cultures into its dominion. The Greeks, on the other hand, were a collection of city-states, each with their own distinct culture, politics, and military traditions. In the early 5th century BC, the Persian Empire began to set its sights on Greece, seeking to incorporate this region into its vast empire. The first Persian invasion of Greece occurred in 492 BC, when King Darius I sent a large army to conquer the region. However, the Persians were defeated at the Battle of Marathon in 490 BC, where a small contingent of Athenian hoplites led by Miltiades successfully repelled the invaders. The defeat at Marathon only served to embolden the Persians, and King Xerxes I began to plan a second invasion of Greece. In 481 BC, Xerxes assembled a massive army, estimated to be over 100,000 strong, with the intention of crushing the Greek city-states once and for all. The Greeks, aware of the impending Persian invasion, knew they had to act quickly to defend themselves. A coalition of Greek city-states, including Sparta, Athens, and Corinth, gathered at the Isthmus of Corinth in 481 BC to discuss a unified response to the Persian threat. The Spartans, led by King Leonidas, took a prominent role in the deliberations, advocating for a strong defensive stance against the invaders. The Greeks decided to make their stand at the narrow pass of Thermopylae, a strategic choke point in eastern Greece that offered a unique opportunity to funnel the enemy into a killing zone. Thermopylae, which translates to hot gates in ancient Greek, was a natural fortress, flanked by towering cliffs in the sea. The pass was so narrow that only a few men could stand shoulder to shoulder, making it an ideal location for a defensive stand. The Greeks had also recently constructed a wall across the pass, which would provide additional protection against the enemy. King Leonidas, aware of the impending Persian invasion, chose Thermopylae as the site to make his stand, hoping to exploit the terrain and neutralize the enemy's superior numbers. The Spartans, renowned for their martial prowess and discipline, were confident in their ability to hold off the Persians. The events that unfolded at Thermopylae would become etched in history as a testament to courage, sacrifice, and the unyielding spirit of the human warrior. The die had been cast, and the outcome would change the course of history forever. As the Persian army approached Thermopylae, they were met with a formidable defensive line consisting of the Spartans, Thespians, and Thebans. The Greeks had chosen this narrow pass to make their stand, knowing that it would neutralize the enemy's superior numbers. The terrain was treacherous, with steep cliffs and the sea flanking the pass, making it an ideal location for a defensive battle. The Persian army, led by King Xerxes I, was a force to be reckoned with. With over 100,000 soldiers at his disposal, Xerxes was confident that he could crush the Greek resistance. However, the Greeks had a secret weapon, their phalanx formation. This tight, shield-walled formation allowed the hoplites to present a wall of spears to the enemy, making it nearly impenetrable. The battle began with a series of skirmishes between the Persian scouts and the Greek defenders. The Persians, armed with bows and arrows, attempted to weaken the Greek lines with a barrage of projectiles. However, the Greeks held firm, using their shields to deflect the arrows and protect themselves from harm. As the day wore on, the Persians launched a series of frontal assaults against the Greek lines. Wave after wave of soldiers crashed against the phalanx formation, but the Greeks held firm. The Spartans, with their discipline and training, were able to maintain their formation, even in the face of overwhelming odds. One of the most famous stories from the Battle of Thermopylae is that of the 300 Spartans, led by King Leonidas. These brave warriors, along with a contingent of Thespians and Thebans, held the narrow pass against the Persian army for 2 days. Despite being vastly outnumbered, they were able to inflict heavy casualties on the enemy, using their knowledge of the terrain to funnel the Persians into killing zones. The turning point of the battle came when a local resident named Ephialtes betrayed the Greeks by revealing a hidden path around the pass. This allowed the Persians to attack the Greek lines from behind, forcing King Leonidas and his men to fight on two fronts. Despite this setback, the Spartans continued to fight valiantly, taking down hundreds of Persian soldiers. As the battle drew to a close, King Leonidas and his remaining men made a final stand against the Persians. Surrounded by the enemy, they fought bravely, using their swords and shields to take down as many Persians as possible. The Battle of Thermopylae may have been a defeat for the Greeks in terms of numbers, but it was a victory in terms of morale. The bravery and sacrifice of King Leonidas and his 300 Spartans inspired the rest of Greece to continue fighting against the Persian Empire. The battle also showed that even against overwhelming odds, a well-trained and disciplined army could inflict significant damage on a larger enemy. The defeat at Thermopylae was a significant blow to the Greek city-states, but it also galvanized them to continue fighting against the Persian Empire. The bravery and sacrifice of King Leonidas and his men inspired the rest of Greece to rally behind the cause of freedom and independence. The Battle of Thermopylae became a symbol of resistance against tyranny, and its legacy continued to inspire future generations of Greeks. In the years following the battle, the Greeks regrouped and reorganized their forces, eventually defeating the Persians at the Battle of Plataea in 479 BC. This victory marked a turning point in the Greco-Persian Wars, as the Greeks were able to drive the Persians out of their territory and secure their independence. The legacy of Thermopylae can be seen in the many accounts of the battle that have been passed down through history. The ancient Greek historian Herodotus wrote extensively about the battle, and his account has become one of the most famous and enduring stories of the ancient world. One of the most significant impacts of the Battle of Thermopylae was its influence on Western culture and values. The idea of a small group of brave warriors standing against overwhelming odds has become a powerful symbol of courage and determination. The phrase, "Come and take them," which King Leonidas is said to have uttered when the Persians demanded that he surrender, has become a rallying cry for freedom and independence. In addition to its cultural significance, the Battle of Thermopylae also had a lasting impact on military tactics and strategy. The use of the phalanx formation by the Greeks, which allowed them to present a wall of spears to the enemy, became a key component of ancient Greek warfare. The battle also highlighted the importance of terrain and geography in determining the outcome of a conflict, as the narrow pass at Thermopylae proved to be a decisive factor in the battle. Today, the site of the Battle of Thermopylae is remembered as a sacred place where brave warriors gave their lives for the cause of freedom and independence. The Leonidas Monument, which stands near the site of the battle, bears an inscription that reads, "Come and take them," a testament to the enduring legacy of King Leonidas and his 300 Spartans. That's all for today's War Bios. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, I'm General Biography reminding you to keep marching toward victory.